language adventurers and globetrotters in the making.
Welcome to Everyday English Phrases, your passport to the world.
I'm Emma, and with me is the linguistic explorer extraordinaire, David.
Thanks, Emma. Listeners, have you ever dreamed of confidently ordering a croissant in Paris?
Or smoothly navigating the bustling streets of Tokyo?
Perhaps you've imagined yourself haggling like a pro in a Moroccan bazaar.
Well, dream no more. Today we're unlocking the doors to global communication.
That's right. We're about to embark on a journey that will transform you from a hesitant traveler into a confident world citizen.
Whether you're planning your first international trip or you're a seasoned traveler looking to polish your skills, this episode is your ticket to seamless communication across cultures.
We'll be sharing essential phrases, cultural insights, and real-life travel stories that will not only help you survive, but thrive in your adventures abroad.
Remember, every expert was once a beginner. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single word.
So, are you ready to take that first step to turn your travel dreams into reality?
Grab your metaphorical backpack and let's hit the linguistic road.
Open your minds and get ready to speak the universal language of adventure.
Your journey to becoming a master of global communication starts right here, right now.
So, let's dive in and discover the power of everyday English phrases that will open up a world of possibilities.
Welcome to Everyday English Phrases, your passport to the world.
Before we start, Emma, I heard you had quite an adventure in Japan recently. Care to share?
Oh, absolutely. Listeners, grab your virtual passports because we're heading to Japan.
This should be good.
Well, it all started when I landed at Narita Airport in Tokyo. I was completely jet-lagged after my long-haul flight from New York, but buzzing with excitement.
Hold on, Emma. Let's break down jet-lagged and long-haul flight for our listeners.
Great idea, David. Jet-lagged means feeling tired and disoriented after flying across time zones. And a long-haul flight is a flight covering a long distance, typically more than 6 hours.
Perfect explanation. Please, continue with your story.
So, after collecting my luggage, I headed to the train station. My mission? To catch the bullet train, or Shinkansen as it's called in Japanese, to Kyoto.
Ooh, the famous bullet train. I've always wanted to ride one.
It's an experience, David. But first I had to tackle the ticket machines. They looked like something out of a sci-fi movie.
I can imagine. How did you manage?
Well, I took a deep breath and approached a staff member. I said, "Sumimasen." That's excuse me in Japanese. "Could you help me purchase a ticket to Kyoto?"
That's a great phrase for our listeners to remember. How did it go?
The staff member was incredibly helpful. She guided me through using the touchscreen to select my destination and seat type. I opted for a window seat in the non-smoking car.
Let's pause here for some vocabulary. Opt for means to choose or decide on something, and a non-smoking car is a train carriage where smoking isn't allowed.
Exactly. So I boarded the train and found my seat. The journey was smooth as silk and the scenery was absolutely breathtaking. We zipped past Mount Fuji at nearly 320 kilometers per hour.
Zip past is a great phrasal verb meaning to move very quickly. 320 kilometers is about 200 miles per hour for our American listeners.
Right. When I finally arrived in Kyoto, I was famished. I decided to try some local cuisine, so I asked a passerby, "Sumimasen, can you recommend a good place for authentic Japanese food?"
Famished is a strong way of saying very hungry, and authentic means genuine or traditional.
The local pointed me to a nearby izakaya, which is a kind of Japanese pub. I tried sashimi, tempura, and even some sake.
Those sound delicious. For our listeners, sashimi is thinly sliced raw fish, tempura is battered and deep-fried seafood or vegetables, and sake is Japanese rice wine.
It was a culinary adventure. I ended the night by saying arigato gozaimasu to the chef, which means thank you very much in Japanese.
What a fantastic story, Emma, and so many useful travel phrases and vocabulary words for our listeners.
Thanks, David. I hope our listeners found it helpful and inspiring for their own travels.
Now that we've whetted our appetites for travel, let's dive into some essential phrases every traveler should know.
Great idea. Let's start with the basics. When you arrive at your destination, you might need to ask, "Where's the baggage claim?"
Good one. And don't forget, can you recommend a good hotel nearby?
If you're lost, try saying, "Excuse me, I'm a bit lost. Can you help me?"
And always remember your magic words, please and thank you.
Or as I like to call them, the open sesame of polite conversation.
Oh, Emma, you're such a gem.
Now let's talk about navigating airports and customs. This can be one of the most stressful parts of traveling.
Absolutely. You might need to say, I have nothing to declare.
Or, where can I find the duty-free shop?
Don't forget, is there a currency exchange nearby?
And if you're running late, what gate is my flight departing from?
Let's hope our listeners don't need this one. I've missed my connecting flight. Can you help me?
Better to be prepared. Here's another useful one. Is there a lounge where I can wait for my flight?
Good thinking. And for long layovers, are there any hotels in the airport?
Okay, let's imagine we're at a restaurant. David, can you play the waiter?
With pleasure. Good evening, madam. How may I be of service?
First, you might ask, can I see the menu, please?
Certainly. And here's a useful phrase. What's the house specialty?
Ooh, fancy! How about, I'm allergic to nuts. Does this dish contain any?
That's an important one. And don't forget, can I have the bill, please?
Unless you want to wash dishes all night.
Here's another good one. Could I have a doggy bag, please?
Or if you're feeling adventurous, I'll have what they're having.
And for our vegetarian listeners, do you have any vegetarian options?
Great addition. Also, is tap water safe to drink here?
Now, let's talk about getting around. For example, a key phrase is, how do I get to bus or train or taxi?
Right. And what time does the next train bus leave?
Don't forget, for example, is this the right platform for a taxi or bus?
Oh, and my personal favorite, I think we're on the wrong train.
Hopefully our listeners won't need to use that one.
Here's a useful one for taxis. For example, can you take me to Madrid, please?
And don't forget to ask, how much will the fare be, approximately?
For those renting a car, where can I rent a car?
And do I need an international driving permit?
Let's move on to hotel phrases. These can really make your stay more comfortable.
Absolutely. At the hotel, you might need to say, for example, I have a reservation under David Stone.
And don't forget to ask, is breakfast included?
Here's an important one. Do you have Wi-Fi? What's the password?
Can't live without Wi-Fi. Can we? How else would I post my travel selfies?
Here's another useful one. What time is checkout?
And if you're tired after a long day of sightseeing, say for example, could you give me a wake-up call at 6 p.m., please?
Oh, and this one's crucial. Is there a safe in the room?
Good thinking. Also, can you recommend any nearby attractions?
Now let's not forget about shopping. You might want to ask, do you have this in a different size?
Or yeah, can I try this on?
If you're looking for a bargain, try, is this on sale?
And the all-important, do you accept credit cards?
Don't forget to check the return policy. What's your return policy?
Good one. And if you're splurging, can I have it gift wrapped, please?
For our eco-conscious listeners, do you have any locally made products?
And for those tricky sizing differences, what's this size in your country's measurements? Now let's cover some phrases for sightseeing. This is where the real adventure begins.
Absolutely. You might ask, what are the opening hours?
Or is photography allowed inside?
Here's a useful one. Is there a guided tour available?
And don't forget, how much is the entrance fee?
If you're in a museum, you could ask, where can I find the specific artwork or exhibit?
Good one. And for the budget-conscious traveler, is there a student discount?
Here's one for history buffs. What's the historical significance of this place?
And for those off-the-beaten-path experiences, are there any local events happening today?
Now let's cover some important phrases for emergencies. We hope our listeners never need these, but it's crucial to be prepared.
Absolutely. A key phrase is, where's the nearest hospital?
Or, I need help. Can you call the police?
And don't forget, I've lost my passport.
Here's another crucial one. I need a doctor. It's an emergency.
And if you're in a non-English speaking country, do you speak English?
For medical emergencies, I'm allergic to a specific allergen.
And in case of theft, I need to report a stolen item. Let's talk about some phrases related to cultural etiquette. These can really help you navigate social situations abroad.
Great idea. Like, is it customary to tip here?
Or, is it okay to take photos of the locals?
Here's an important one. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you.
And for religious sites, do I need to cover my head, remove my shoes?
Good thinking. And don't forget, could you please explain this custom to me?
For dining etiquette, is it polite to eat with my hands?
And for greeting people, what's the customary way to greet someone here?
Now let's put it all together with a little skit. I'll be a tourist and you be a local.
Sounds good.
Excuse me, I'm a bit lost. Can you help me find the museum?
Of course. It's just down this street on your right.
Thank you so much. By the way, can you recommend a good place to eat nearby?
Certainly. There's a great little cafe just across from the museum. They have the best croissants in town.
That sounds perfect. Is it far to walk?
Not at all. It's just a 5-minute walk.
Great. Oh, one more thing. Is it customary to tip in cafes here?
Yes, but just round up to the nearest euro. It's appreciated, but not expected.
Thanks for all your help. Have a nice day.
You're welcome. Enjoy your visit.
See, with these phrases, traveling becomes much easier.
We've received some questions from our listeners. Let's answer a few.
Great idea, David. Our first question is from Juan in Spain. He asks, how do I politely refuse something I don't want?
Good question, Juan. You can say, no thank you, or I appreciate the offer, but no thank you.
Next, we have a question from Yuki in Japan. She wants to know how to ask for recommendations for local attractions.
Yuki, you can say, what are the must-see attractions around here? Or, can you recommend any hidden gems in this area?
To our listeners, hidden gems is a phrase used to describe things that are excellent or valuable, but not widely known or appreciated. It can refer to a variety of subjects, such as places, unpopular or lesser-known destinations that offer a great experience, such as a beautiful but secluded beach or a charming, undiscovered town, books, movies, or music, works that are high in quality but haven't gained mainstream recognition. Those are great. Last question is from Pierre in France. He wants to know how to compliment the local cuisine.
Easy, Pierre. Try saying, this is delicious, or I love the local food here.
Well, that's all we have time for today, folks.
Remember, practice makes perfect. Try using these phrases in your daily life, even if you're not traveling.
And don't worry if you make mistakes. Even potatoes can be eyeful sometimes.
Oh, Emma, thanks for listening, everyone. Until next time, keep practicing and happy travels.
And remember, the world is a book, and those who do not travel read only one page.
Wow, getting philosophical there, Emma.
Just trying to inspire our listeners.
Au revoir, auf Wiedersehen, sayonara.
Show off. Bye, everyone.
Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and leave a review if you enjoyed today's episode. Until next time, this is David.
And Emma, signing off.